Good evening. On ITV this Sunday, live during the ad break of the South Bank show, whatever that is, they'll be announcing the winner of the first annual Prudential Arts Award. This is a new prize for arts organisations of all kinds, and the winner will end up £100,000 richer. Rubbing shoulders in the shortlist with the likes of the English National Opera and the Rambert Dance Company is an organisation called Common Ground. Founded in 1983, Common Ground are what might be called cultural entrepreneurs for the green era. They specialise in finding ways of using the arts to enable people to express what they feel about their local environment. This can include anything from exhibitions about trees to an ambitious countrywide project called New Milestones, which encourages local communities to collaborate with artists in devising permanent environmental sculptures. The biggest new milestone yet is gradually taking shape at Chiswell, on the Isle of Portland. The Late Show went to Dorset to observe the work in progress.
Common Ground is fundamentally trying to empower people at the local level to look after the things that matter to them. That's what we're about.
It's a place that moves me. It's a place where the landscape and what people do with the landscape come together in a remarkable way.
It was actually an idea that came from a Portland person that there should be a sculpture here to celebrate the fact that the seawall had been completed and the sewerage system had been finished. And then it just evolved from there.
We thought we'd like to have a sculpture made for Chiswell, and I didn't know how to go about it at first. But then I heard of Common Ground, and they had just started their New Milestones project in Dorset. So I went to them and said, "Can you help?"
The New Milestones project is really trying to give people a sense that they can celebrate and show what they care about in their place, and do it in a form that has some lasting meaning, that actually captures our moment in time and passes it on, and shows that we actually have some things that we do care about. It's not about big business. It's not about showing symbols of power and prestige and things like that. It's about quiet expressions of familiarity with places. It's about releasing sculpture into the wild, in a sense. It's about enabling local people to commission artists to make work. So the sculptor or craftsperson is not asked to come in and drop something down and run away, but to actually work very closely with people on an idea of the place, to bring something out of the place and to show it in some sort of form. We talked a good deal with the people who came to us from Chiswell. We worked through a whole sequence of events to try and find a sculptor who could work with them. John Mayne came to the top of the list. He's worked on the Isle of Portland for a very long time, working with the masons, taking sculpture away from Portland to other places. Now, the thrill for him was to work actually in the place, with the people, with the masons, and leave the work behind.
I felt that the starting point for it should be that the work should have maximum integration with the landscape, that it should be part of the landscape and not an object in the landscape. That was really the basis of it. And I did a lot of drawings of various ways that you could have an organising of this piece of landscape, where art and landscape came together. And these were shown in the gallery here. People came in and responded to them in various ways. And eventually I began to feel that one particular direction predominated over others. I mean, rather than have, say, a great triangle of carved stone or something, that these terraced forms, they seem to strike some sympathy with certain people.
I think it's unusual. I think it will, in time, settle into the minds and hearts of the people. I hope it will. I personally am a bit tired of statues erected as monuments to this, that and the other. I think this is a far more acceptable tribute to stone. Portland stone is Portland. And when I was a lad, you didn't expect to do anything else. Just as a miner's son would expect to go down the mine, we expected either to go in the quarry or the mason's yard. The days of scholarships and all that kind of thing were not on. Eventually, we became quite proud of our occupation and the buildings that had come out of it, yes.
The sculpture takes the sequence of a quarry, taking 5 levels from a quarry that's formed by settling of stone. It's sedimentary, it settles. The stone is taken out. The sculpture reassembles the stone in patterns that are very distinctly man-made. I felt that I needed to make a sculpture that the quarrymen would understand themselves. They wouldn't see it as being alien. They wouldn't be baffled by it. They would say, oh, there's a bit of quarry bank, or oh, there's a bit of slat. Oh, he's used a bit of flint in there, something like that. So in a sense, they were my most critical audience. The way we've built it is really like taking a quarry to pieces and bringing it down here and building it back again. But of course you can't make it as nature makes it, so you have to use different strategies. But we tried to give variety in this wall. The wall above is fairly consistent. You know, it's almost like texture, whereas this one is more like events. And we put in a good solid course like these stones. They go down a bit actually. You can see under there. Look, there's stones under the ground, and then balancing stones, and then a good solid level. And then we put in some thin ones to try to give a sense of the variety and the range of stones that you get up in the cliffs behind. So people can see these, and then they can see the cliff behind and see some kind of connection.
Somehow putting an artist in amongst the community makes people stop and think much more than a developer coming in and doing something quite tiny, or a farmer deep ploughing up and down and perhaps taking away thousands of years of information that's gathered there. There's a tendency always for people to think that they can speak out for the special, for the rare, for the spectacular, but not necessarily for ordinary things, for that tree or that little building. Now, that process of being emotionally involved with something is one which all of the experts, all of the professionals walk away from. It's too difficult to deal with. It's an intangible. You can't put a money value on it. You can't put an equation around it. Now, from our point of view, it seemed to us that was the very reason for bringing it back onto the agenda, to make sure that it doesn't get lost.
You go through life, you don't really do anything for a purpose, like, and I never had no purpose, I never had nothing to show for it. And then when I started to build and I started to look what I'd done it a day and then started to look what I'd done it a week and realised it'd be there for a long time, it felt like my personal monument to what I could do. My own Stonehenge.
When you think of the huge issues that most people are now being confronted with, ozone holes, greenhouse effect and all the rest of it, I think most people feel completely unable to deal with that, to know what to do about it, to know how to make a change. And they then leave it to the experts and people far away. What we're always saying is you can do something. You can do something to change things locally, and all of the little local bits add up to something global.
The landscape sculpture of common ground. Did you know that in the Middle Ages...